Okay, so this is how you rekey a cow lock deadbolt. So the first thing you want to do is use your keys and measure out the pin cut number for each cut. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cuts in the pin, in the key. So the first cut, you put the key in at the cut and you push the key all the way over until it stops. So you can see that this one, the first cut, is a key code 3. So it's 3, and then the second one, 3, third one, 1, 4, 3. So what you want to do is you want to write that down so you remember what, because this correlates with what pins to put in. The next thing you do is you take your deadbolt and take out the 2 screws on the back. I did notice that in the antique brass finish, the company dipped the screws and the threads in the special antique brass coating and made the screw threads somewhat hard to take in and out. What I've had to do is take a wire wheel on the grinder and grind off all the coating on the threads to make it easier to take out and put in. So the next thing you do is you take the lock cylinder part, and there is a small pin here that you have to push down. What you do is you push that down and you turn the ring. Keep pushing and then keep turning until the ring comes all the way off. There'll be the pin and a small spring. So the next thing you do is you take the keys that came with the lock, put those in the lock and turn it a quarter way so the key is facing at 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Then you take your follower, and while pushing the follower against the cylinder, push the cylinder thingy out. You want to keep the follower in there. The pins do come out. What you might do is you take your key that you're keying it to, and sometimes just in case the pins actually fit, in certain spots, the old pins in there. So I take the key that I'm going to rekey the locks to, and I put that in this, and then you go to your lock kit and get the correct numbers that correlate to each space. So it's 3, 3, 1, 4, 3. I am using quick-set pins in a cow lock type cylinder. Sometimes if the pins do not fit, you either have to go to the next smaller size or file them down. Since these pins are so far up, what I'm going to do is go down to 2s instead of the 3s at the beginning. Cowlock does sell a special lock rekeying kit that might help. The other thing you can see is that the factory ground this part here to try to get it to fit, so they may have taken it too far down. So that 4 pin also needs to be taken down to a 3. Now what I'll do is I'll file it just a little bit. What you want to do is just hold the key in there and file the tops. Try not to file the actual cylinder part like someone did at the factory. So you want to make sure that the pins do not stick up any higher than the top of the cylinder or any lower. So once that's pretty good, then what you do is when I put it in, I tilt the pins a little bit to the side and keep putting pressure on this side of the follower so that the top pin and the spring doesn't come out. So once you get that in there, you want to test it and make sure that the key rotates freely, very easily. If it's any bit hard at this point, when you put the lock back together, it does make it harder. So you can, put the key in and take it out. That's good right there. So then the next thing we do is we put the lock back together. So the little spring goes in. Make sure the tapered end of the retaining pin, that part faces out. What you want to do with this is the pin has to be in the area where it's cut away, and also the same with that ring on top. So with that, put the retaining ring over, and you will have to again push down the pin while turning it all the way.